I have some behind the scene information about what happened in the courtroom and what happened outside the courtroom in Madison County, Alabama, when Martell HOLT went to court and pled guilty. Let's talk about it. Thank you for joining me for this video. All commentary is alleged and in my very own opinion. Please don't forget to support the channel, like, share, and subscribe. I want to shout out Melody Shari and all of the YouTube bloggers who have shouted me out because Melody did mention me in her live yesterday. Okay, I'm doing this video to let everyone know what I witnessed the day Martell HOLT was due in court for the domestic violence DV harassing communication, or harassing communications DV, however you want to put it. I was there for the case. I wanted to see what would happen. I initially arrived at the courthouse around 8 o'clock in the morning. I went upstairs to the 8th floor, I think 8th or 9th floor, wherever the trial was to be held. I went inside the courtroom, was sitting there. A lot of defendants started coming in because I think the court time was supposed to start at 9 o'clock. So everyone should be there at 9 o'clock. The courtroom was so full. One of the officials of the court came and said, if you're not a part of any case today, we're going to need y'all to move outside because we have a lot of cases today and we need the litigants to be inside the courtroom. So when the judge called them, they will be able to hear. So I got up, I left. Now, when I left the courtroom, because it was after 9 o'clock and everybody should be there at 9 o'clock, so I thought. But I looked around and I did not see Martell and I didn't see Melody. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, maybe I got the date wrong. Pretty sure I had the date right, but they weren't there. So I'm thinking, well, maybe they rescheduled the case again. So I left. I left the 8th floor. And then I went to ask someone in another area that know about the cases. I said, well, this is the case right here. Can you tell me if this case is going to be held today? They said, yes, it's on the 8th floor where you were. I told them which room I had, which courtroom I was in. They said, yes. So I say it probably was about an hour or so after that. Because at first I was just going to leave. Because I had something else I needed to do anyway. And I'm thinking, they're not going to be here because Martell and pulled another one. He probably didn't pull another postponement or whatever. So when I went back upstairs, I saw Martell sitting there. I said, okay, the case will be held. Unbeknownst to me, Melody was on the inside of the courtroom. Martell was outside. Melody was inside the courtroom. So I just was, again, I'm sitting outside and I'm waiting to see, what would happen. Because again, it was so many cases. It was so many times that I almost left. Because I was like, there's nothing going to happen. Again. So at some point I did see Melody's security guard come out of the courtroom, and also shortly thereafter, and I'm just sitting there outside again, I saw the bird. Now I can't be sure if she was not there from the beginning. Like when I first went up there, I saw Martell. He had on a black suit. I did see him. I cannot be sure if she may have been sitting beside him at that time, but I did not notice her until later on. After I saw Jason come out of the courtroom, I did see her. Now, she came over and was sitting somewhere close to the door, and that's where I was sitting. And I'm still trying to get footage of, Melody coming out of the courtroom or Jason or whatever that I thought would be good for my YouTube video that I was going. So, again, the bird and Martell, they were standing there talking. Now, Melody and Jason were outside of the courtroom too, but they were down on the opposite end of where I was sitting. But I was sitting closer to the courtroom where Martell and the bird was. And I see them conversing back and forth. But I again, the first thing when I saw her, I'm like, why? What purpose would she be here? This is what I'm thinking. The second thought in my mind is that this is Carlucifer. This is a trick that he has set up to try to get ratings, to try to get people to start talking about it, because I haven't been following the show. Anytime I see anything about Love and Marriage Huntsville come up on my timeline, I'm clicking, not interested. So it's not, Love and Marriage Huntsville rarely come up on my timeline. So I don't know if people been talking about the show. I don't know. So this is what I will say. Martell and the bird seemed like they were interested if bloggers were there. Because at one point, it's almost as if he asked her to come. Oh, this is what I'm thinking. I don't know anything. I didn't hear him say this. But she gets up and comes close to where I was. And this looked like, it almost as if she was looking, trying to see if I was recording something. As soon as she came over where I was, close to me, and I felt like she was in my personal space, too close, I moved closer to the restroom. Because even if I was recording, what business is that of yours? Let me just say here, when I saw the skirt that this lady had on, it was so short. Why are you coming to the courtroom? Now you do what you do. You come however you want to come. But why do you have on a skirt that looks like a mini skirt that you would wear to the club? You don't come to no courtroom with that mess on. So when I see as short this skirt is, this even bolsters my case of you all, either Carlucifer sent y'all down there together saying if y'all need more attention, and hey, the more attention you get, the more the rating's gonna be, the more money gonna be in your pocket. Because after Melody has told us that this woman don't have no car, and we know Martell is desperate for money. Shout out to Queen Sheba. She told us a while back that Martell tried to get on to pay him and Curry $1 million. We're not doing it. So, but they're not even, it's almost as if they're not getting any money if you ain't got no car. But anyway, so they're trying their best to get attention so they can make money. And again, that skirt, just her attire, it's almost like she was coming to get attention. You ain't coming to see what Martell's case gonna be, because he done had 3 or 4 or 5 appearances in the courtroom and you ain't came. But now all of a sudden, since y'all trying to get ratings, people not talking about the show as much as they used to. Now y'all need somebody to talk about you and Martell. That's just me. That's all. I could be wrong. But she came to aggravate. And this is one thing that I don't know why she came. But in addition to them needing attention, I think she always want to aggravate, meddle. There is a spirit I am so sure of, that there is a meddling spirit. I used to work with this lady. She was just like this bird, always meddling, always running around doing something for attention, always in somebody else's business and not taking care of their own. This is what I call a meddling spirit. It is a nagging, aggravating, chirping spirit, and it's evil, and it's just very aggravating. This is what I see when I see this lady meddling. She meddled in these people's marriage for years and did not see nothing wrong with it. She meddled and meddled and meddled and kept on aggravating and aggravating and aggravating. Kept her nose in these people's marriage all of these years. Now, that's not eliminated what Martell did. Don't get me wrong. What he did was absolutely wrong. But I'm focusing on her now because I'm talking about the meddling spirit. This lady has it. Please don't ask me where this is in the Bible. This is just revelation for me from God, that there is a meddling spirit. Y'all see people do it all the time. That is just not normal. That is an evil spirit. Trust me and believe. But so here now the meddling spirit has connected with Lucifer, who is the puppet master, and he don't have any problem using this woman. He doesn't have any problem, even though she talked about Oprah Winfrey, the owner, the lady who started the Oprah Winfrey Network. Now, we all know that she sold a lot of the shares of her company, but here he is. He know what that lady, the bird, said about Oprah. She wants to blame Oprah for her problems, and Oprah had nothing to do with it. But he is so hell bent on trying to hurt Melody. He don't mind putting his whole company at risk, thinking that if he gang up with Hotel and Bird, he's gonna get some ratings. And only thing he worry about is ratings. He don't care about black women. I don't care what you say, and this is all alleged and in my very own opinion. That man cares nothing about women. He cares about those men. Let me tell you one thing. When Martell was found guilty of domestic violence, harassing communication, don't you know Carlos knew that man tried to release a revenge P video on his ex-wife. He also knew that Curry was talking about that she was looking for someone to put that video out, and that Martell had asked her to do it. He knew all of this, and he turned a blind eye to it. Okay, and y'all know I mentioned the meddling spirit earlier. So what I'm witnessing outside the courtroom is this lady, the bird that is, seems very happy, very jovial. Just it was like, again, just doing the most for attention, seemed like. So now it comes time for Martell to go into the courtroom to plead guilty. I didn't know this at the time. I did see Melody and Jason go into the courtroom. I saw Martell and the bird go into the courtroom. And I did not know at the time. I'm still sitting there, and when I saw them go in, I should have got up and went in. But then I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe they may not let me in. But I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going in here to see what's going on. When I got in there, the judge and the prosecutor were discussing the arrangements of the plea deal. The only thing I heard was the judge when she said, okay, seems like we've come to an agreement. Now I am summarizing, and that Mr. Holt is going to plead guilty to harassing communication. The domestic violence part will be dropped, and that's all I heard at that time. Then I see Martell. Now, here it is. The judge, now, okay, the agreement is made. Now, Mr. Holt is going to have to plead guilty. Raise your right hand. He has to raise his right hand, and he has to plead guilty. He looks at his attorney like, what am I supposed to do? He's supposed to say, I plead guilty. So he did plead guilty. The judge accepted his plea. And one thing I want to note, and I do remember Melody saying this on her live or something similar. When the prosecutor decided to accept the agreement, the prosecutor wanted on record that video was still out there. If that video becomes public and they hear of it again, he will be filed up on charges. Again, I'm summarizing, but that was the gist of it. If that video is found again, comes up again, you're going to be held responsible. So that video better not come back out. The courts better not hear anything about it. The judge noted it's on the record. And for the people who say that Martell got off easy, I have to beg to differ at this point. I don't see Martell getting off easy. First of all, Martell wanted to be found not guilty. He hired an attorney. He paid the attorney a lot of money. Now, I know that he got off on a $300 fine, but you better add that $300 to probably 20 or 30,000, or maybe 10 or 15 to the attorney, because he has had this attorney for a while. Attorneys don't work for free. So you may say he got off on an easy $300. No ma'am, no sir, no spam, no ham. That man had to end up paying a lot of money to defend himself, and he still had to plead guilty. So how is that getting off? Easy. And I couldn't understand what you all are saying when you say that the Alabama court system failed Melody. But we got to remember, the prosecutor did not allow Martell to get off on this. They did not drop the charges. They pushed through. Melody pushed through, and they saw to the end and made sure that Martell paid for what he did. So after the court is over, everybody left the courtroom. The few people that were in there left the courtroom. Apparently they stood around talking. I didn't see. I got on the elevator and went downstairs. I pushed the wrong button for the floor that I was supposed to go on. I was a little disoriented. So I get back on the elevator, and there were some people that were on the elevator, and they were going up to the 9th floor, 8th floor, whichever floor that I just came off of. But for some reason, I forgot to push the apparently, okay, I probably went down to the last floor, the basement floor, and I probably should have been on the 1st floor. I'm not sure exactly how it was. And then when I did not get off the elevator because I did not recognize the area that I was in. I was like, this is not where I need to be. This is not where the guards are. So I didn't push a button, but whoever was in the elevator that got on pushed the 8th floor. So that means I got to go all the way back up to the 8th floor. When the door opens, the elevator door opens, guess what I see? I see Melody and Jason. I also see Martell and Curry. And I'm shocked. I really am. Because they were standing there together. And I don't know, at this time, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, are they getting ready to get on the same elevator? So I get off the elevator because there were a lot of people. It wasn't just those 4 standing there. There were a lot of people that was waiting to get on the elevator. I get off the elevator and they get on the elevator. I don't see what happened. But then, I go ahead on it and push the button to go back downstairs, and I get on the elevator and go back downstairs. So I'm thinking it's over. I'm getting ready to leave the courthouse. That's it. That's all. But as I was exiting the courthouse, I see Melody and Jason. They're standing outside and they're talking. And I'm getting ready to go to my vehicle to leave. And apparently, I went around because you have to go around in a circle because they got doors on more than one side. No, you can exit one door, but it's kind of confusing. So as I'm leaving the courthouse, again, I see Melody and Jason. They're standing up there talking. And I don't know any of what had gone on the elevator because I'm not on the elevator. But Melody filled us in on that yesterday. Again, I'm getting ready to go to my vehicle. I am a little disoriented because it's kind of confusing. If you're not from that area, it's just it's a little confusing when you walk out of the courthouse to get to the different parking lots that they have nearby. So if you're not paying attention to where you park your vehicle or doing landmarks of, okay, when I leave out of this courthouse, I need to turn left or right or whatever, you're going to get disoriented. And that's what happened to me. Again, I'm looking down or looking around trying to find out which direction I need to go in. And I look up and I see Melody and Jason. And I see Bird and HOLT. And they look like they're looking similar to how I saw them getting ready to get on the elevator. So I'm thinking, wow, they are. It didn't seem like it was a problem or anything. They were just walking, and I'm viewing all this from a distance. But as I'm getting closer, I'm hearing nothing but chirping, running mouth from one person only. And you know who that was. That was a bird. I take my camera out and I start recording. Again, I'm far off, so I cannot hear what they're saying, what she's saying, because I'm just hearing chirping. And Martell did not say one word. That lady is the only one chirping. Then I see she said something. I see Melody stop. And that is probably when she said something about, I don't know what she said at that point, but she said something and allowed, basically, it looked like she was saying, y'all need to go on. Leave us alone. Because, again, the lady is just running her mouth. Martell ain't said a word. I'm recording. Again, I can't hear what she's saying. I can't make out what she's saying. I'm just hearing chirping, 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 chirping. That's it. So, apparently, as I'm looking down to stop my camera, I don't see Martell and Coleslaw. I don't know what direction they went in. I do see Melody and Jason over on the left, because that is where I thought I parked. They went into a parking lot. I'm like, oh, this is the parking lot. It turned out to not be the parking lot that I was parked in. But I went over, and that's when I came up to Melody and spoke with her. And Jason is very stern. He was looking, he didn't crack a smile or anything like that. Those of you all who don't know, my son is an attorney, and he has his poker face just like Jason all the time. So I'm used to the poker face. And since he's an attorney, and he has these hard cases from time to time, and he's dealing with a lot of criminals all the time. You know, I shouldn't have said it like that, but that's just the nature of the beast. He's in the league. He's an officer of the court. It's just a different type of vibe when you get around him. Like I say, and then plus he's always been the serious type anyway. But he always has his poker face. So I'm looking at Jason, and I know this man is doing his job. He's taking care of his client. I can't tell you I can remember everything from beginning to end, but this is what I do remember happening. I was walking close to Melody and Jason. And all of a sudden, this big black vehicle pulls up. And he pulled up past Melody, and he's looking out of the window and looking back. And Melody is just still walking. She's walking, and he's saying something to her. And the only thing I heard was hair. And you know how them two, the bird and always used to talk about hair. That's the only thing I heard him say, something about hair. So I'm like, in the way he was talking to her, and I'm just going to back up a little bit. If I was Melody and Martell had pulled up on me the way he did with Melody that day, I would have been afraid. I would have felt threatened as well. Exaggerating. I'm just telling you in the moment when I felt. I felt a little fear for Melody. I'm not saying, because I know she has a bodyguard right there, but I'm saying, is she got to put up with this? And I didn't know that the bird was in the car. I saw him driving, and I had no idea she was in the car, because who in their right mind would have their supposedly girlfriend in a vehicle with them, drives all the way back around where your ex-wife is, just to say something stupid? And that's why I did not know if she was in the vehicle or not. I thought maybe they drove separate cars, and that he dropped her off and then he came back around there. But Melody said she was up in the vehicle. And he is sitting here really intimidating this woman. Remember when I told y'all when they were walking, the only person that was talking was the bird? Martell had his head down. He wasn't saying a word. He know not to say anything. The bird don't know. Jason probably would have had to take her down too if she had made wrong move. But more than likely he wouldn't take her down because she just running her mouth. But if Martell had a step to him, oh, he was going down, in my opinion. That's why Martell didn't say nothing. But as soon as he got in that big boat, that big long truck, now you want to come and talk. Now you want to run your mouth. Talk about somebody's hair and somebody's face. Talk about that's your boyfriend. I respect Melody. I love what she's doing. She has a very pleasant, beautiful spirit. A lot of people can appreciate her and just can love on her and her children because of the person that she is. And when he did that to her, I'm like, who are you? I'm like, really, my question was, who are you to be talking to her like this? Because I knew who he was, but then I really didn't understand the disrespect of it all. The audacity for you to come to her space. I'm going to use the word taunt because that's what, as an outsider looking in, that's what it felt like. It literally appeared that he was taunting, trying to intimidate, trying to put fear into this woman by saying nothing but a bunch of bull crap, but pulling up on her and looking at her like he was looking straight through her. And I'm telling you, the look on his face seemed like he's very, very bothered by her and her success. He's bothered. He is it's almost like he's tormented because he cannot partake of her life now. He has to see her from a distance. He has to see Jason walking beside Melody, shielding her, protecting her, something he didn't do. And now he's upset with Jason, but he can't do anything to Jason because Jason will take him out. Jason would take him down. He can't do anything to Melody physically because Jason won't let him get to her. And he's upset about it. But he can get in the vehicle and come around. He could not leave that court area, the courtroom area, the courthouse area without coming back there to say something to Melody. And like I said before, he could have said anything he wanted to when they were walking down the way to get to their vehicles. He could have said something then, but what'd he do? He wasn't going to do it because Jason was on that behind. And Jason was cool as a cucumber. He didn't say nothing. But Martell waited until he got in that vehicle, then started running his mouth. Why? Because now, since he in the vehicle, Jason come after him, he can put the pedal to the metal and get out of Dodge. I'll say one other thing. I remember Melody said that when Bird and Martell got on the elevator, she said something. Bird said something about a blogger. So that confirmed to me that she was watching, thinking that I was recording and thinking that I was going to put some information out. I was going to do a video all the time, but I just never got around to doing it. But it had nothing to do with them other than what he pled guilty to. I wanted to give the information, but the information has been out for a while, so there was no need for me to rush and do a video. The last thing I would like to say is that if I am not mistaken, I heard Melody say that she had to take out a protective order against Martell last week. Now, this case that I'm talking about today happened on the 18th, which was about 2 weeks ago. So that means that he's done something after he pulled up on her. He did something else, in my opinion. The bottom line is she's going to have to keep recording. She's going to have to keep documenting. She's going to have to keep protecting herself. And she's going to have to make sure that the court system know that what Martell is doing. And Coleslaw going to get caught up because she's running her mouth. She's going to get caught up. She thinks she's got away with this stuff. But if she keep on running her mouth, she's going to let Martell get her in a whole lot of trouble. But anyway, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for joining me. And please drop down in the comments and let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day. And please don't forget to support the channel, like, share, and subscribe.